Unfortunately, we had a presidential candidate say we should never apologize for American values, supporting the film. People hear that in the Arab world and they say it's an American value to denigrate our religious sensitivities. He was obviously saying speech, freedom of speech. But the point is, as Americans, do we really want to say it is an American value to denigrate other people's faiths, other people's beliefs? We can criticize those beliefs, write intellectual tomes about why Islam is not a true religion. There are many books like that, and nobody gets upset. Muslims don't get upset. You can write all you want of why you don't think the Prophet Muhammad is a prophet, but to mock, to denigrate, to make fun of somebody who's dearer to the hearts of the Muslims, and this includes Jesus. The Muslims feel the same way about Jesus, or about Moses, about any of these prophets. Really, this is where we have to ask ourselves, is this the type of society we want? We have risen above racial denigration in this country, in the public space. If you denigrate somebody racially in the public space, you will lose your job. You will lose your job. There are consequences to saying kike, to saying mick, to saying spick, to saying nigger. All of these things have consequences. Why? Because we recognize that people have sensitivities. If you go down to East Oakland right now, if you go down to East Oakland right now and you shout the N-word as a white man in East Oakland and somebody comes and stabs you, is anybody gonna be surprised? Seriously, is anybody gonna be shocked? No. But what the problem is, we don't recognize that for believers, when you die, you lose your racial identity. But when you die, you maintain your religious identity. This is how the Muslims understand it. Now, I'm not going to justify anything the Muslims did in their reactions. I'm not going to justify that. The Prophet Muhammad never, ever attacked any ambassador. In fact, when a false prophet sent his ambassadors, he actually honored them and sent them back. He never denigrated ambassadors. In the ancient world, it was a declaration of war to kill an ambassador. This is a wretched thing that happened, but a small minority of people, and let me remind you that there were Libyans who died defending that embassy, trying to keep the Americans safe. And they are recorded, there are recordings of them saying, protect them, make sure they're inside. And they lost their lives. And they would see that as a martyrdom in their faith. Just like Amir Abdul Qadir al-Jazairi defended the Christians and the French legation in Syria against the riots in which they were attacking Christians. He went out and defended them. The French sang his praises even though they had conquered his country and driven him out of his own country. He defended them in Damascus. He was honored in this country. Kadar, Ohio is named after, Iowa is named after him because he was honored as a noble human being. This is our prophet. This is how we see our prophet. Now, I would argue that there is an element. I called this years ago, I gave a talk at the Globe Theater about Othello. It was after 9/11. And I argued that Othello, Santiago Matamoros was the patron saint that drove out the Moors from Spain. And so Shakespeare called this character Iago, right? The Spanish advisor to Othello, the Moor. And there's an argument that Iago was actually represented a certain voice inside England that wanted to prevent an alliance with Queen Elizabeth and the Moroccans against the Spanish, because Mansur al-Dhahabi had argued for that alliance. We have Iagos working on both sides, whispering, trying to get us to kill each other, to strangle the Desdemona of hope. I mean, this is what's going on, and we have to be very careful about that.